Alright, here's our equipment we use here. I'm going to start with our raccoon. The best traps for raccoon right now are the 1.5 bridgers, and that's a pretty basic trap most people are using right now. The number 11 long spring sleepy creeks are nice traps. One of the reasons why number 11 sleepy creeks are good, they have 3 swivels, one right here, and one where you stake it fast. An old trap, but a nice trap, are these Northwoods. They have a nice square pan, a bigger pan. They used to have 1.5, Victor's used to have round pans, and they're not quite as good. You need a big pan. Like for mink, you need a pan that's square. We have a lot of pinch pans, they're called. The old Victor's had pinch pans, not the round ones, but the old square ones. And they're nice big pans to catch the mink. A lot of people use number 2s. Now they're good too, because they'll grab the whole mink and they'll actually drown the mink a lot of times. They're good for mink. We tried the dog-proof traps. They work great, they catch them great, but the problem is they're not as good as blind sets, and you spend a lot of time out there putting these out and checking them because they're not always interested in what you have. They're interested in getting to where they want to go, and that's where we put our traps. And we keep our equipment simple. I keep my equipment simple. I do take a very nice pair of fencing pliers to cut my wire and to twist it, and take thick gauge wire. You don't want thin stuff. I always use the thicker stuff. And I take nails a lot of times. These are great, and I just pound it in, and as long as it has a swivel, you're pretty good. You can pound a tree, pull these right out. We'll carry a hammer a lot with us, take a little trowel with, and I have my saw on my side a lot for drags. Now that's good basic raccoon and mink equipment. Now, moving on to the fox equipment. We have a canvas bag here, and I always like to use a canvas bag. Works good for fox, works good for coon, but you always keep your coon and fox equipment separate because of your odor, of course. Coon, this works great, a hammer like this. It's a very long hammer, so you got leverage. And fox, when you're pounding stakes in, you don't have to have a heavy digging hammer, sledge digging hammer. I carry this because it's lighter, and that's important, especially when you're carrying fur out. So I can get a lot of digging done, and I can get in there with this claw, and I can use it if I'm nailing traps fast for a raccoon. But for fox, this is great. Very nice long handle. I just have an old sifter. A lot of times we use peat moss, so we don't have to sift a lot. If we're in a close area where we're not walking, I'll use peat moss, and it can rain all day for days, and it won't affect your peat moss, and it won't freeze. And we also use wax paper on the cover of your pan. We'll cut little squares and crumble them up and set it on top of the pan. And that's another waterproof thing that we learned. Works great for pan covers. We don't mess around. When we have bad weather, we always have bad weather. So that's what we do all the time. Unless we're somewhere far back in. I like to keep my lures in the front of this canvas bag. It has 2 handles, and then you can keep lures in the front. I have a gland lure for fox there. That's a great one for that step down set, a gland lure. And here's a 1.5 bridger. Now you can use them for fox. We use a lot of 175s because we have coyotes in the area. These don't need a pan tension because they have night latch on, and the night latch is a little round nub there, and you have to file it down, which that's another thing we usually keep because you can't always get them filed perfect. You don't always know if your traps, the wax is off your trap or whatever you have, but we'll file them nice. You go around that nub, you don't want to file the nub off, of course. So, we file them. We'll keep a screwdriver too with our equipment, flathead screwdriver. But that night latch, we'll keep that pan adjusted right where they want it. And then the tension of that pan going down is what you want for fox. Usually a fox tension is 1.5 to 2 pounds. And that's what it has, and it's already set from factory. And you can adjust it a little if necessary if things aren't working with the screwdriver. And the screwdriver flathead, a littler one, will go in here and you can pull it back and forth to adjust your pan, the trigger. This is our main trap for fox because we have coyotes in the area. We double stake. We have triple swiveled, and this is an older trap. We've used it hard, but we'll have that pan tension. If we're solely trapping for coyote, we'll have it around 2 pounds. If there's fox and coyote, we'll keep it a little lower, between 1.5 and 2, and then we'll set that pan halfway between the trigger, and you'll see the halfway mark right here, and that's where we want it level with our jaws and halfway between that notch in the pan on your trigger. And then we'll set the tension like I said, and pan tension is very important. You need to know that right amount because fox are very touchy. And here's an offset jaw, which they work good too. They're pretty popular a while back. See, that pan needs to adjust it. What we do when we adjust them, there's a screw right there, screw right in here, and a nut on the other side, and you just take your screwdriver in there and turn it and tighten it up and hold the nut on the other side. Now that's what we do when we're in our vehicle and we're going different places, easily accessed. But when I go in and I go trap a fur that hasn't been trapped in a long time, I use an Alice pack. They're easy to carry a lot of stuff in. I can keep a tomahawk on the side for my hatchet. I can also keep my saw on this side, and you can get a black plastic trash can to fit inside your pack, and that's for a whole lot of traps. I'll fit a whole trash can in there, and I can still get clothes, food, and water on either side. And it's not easy if you're carrying a lot of traps, but you can still get it all in there, and you can have that scent-proof area with your trash can inside. And I keep fire starting equipment and things like that in here. And I go back, I'll take my pack, my tent or what I'm using, and I'll put it in here on top, I'll strap it, and I'll go back for a couple days beaver trapping. But Alice pack works great. Got a great frame on it. Military use it. It's the most comfortable pack I've found it for what we're doing. But I hope I could show you guys a few things I've learned that works the best and the lightest, most practical things we can use.